isn't it?
Hello, my name's Heather from Beachcomber Meditation. I'm here again with my dear friend Tracy. And this evening, we're going to be talking about restoring sleep and rest, which is the topic of our upcoming retreat day on the 18th of July at Bridlington Links. So, first of all, Tracy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Heather. How are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm
Good.
away house sitting at my daughter's, so it's kind of a bit of a holiday for me, which is nice.
Lovely.
And how did you sleep last night?
Like a log.
Mm. Yeah, me too.
Like a proverbial log.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't I'm one of these people I could when I go to bed, I literally shut my eyes and I'm asleep within seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
I remember once sharing a hotel room with my mum, and she was really, really annoyed at how quickly I went to sleep.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
She struggles. Mm,
I remember my ex-husband, we'd get into bed and then he'd wake me up by saying, I do not believe it. Because I'd literally just hit the pillow and that would be
mm,
it. It's doing
mm,
that little funny snoring that you do when you start, drifting off.
mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I do a little bit more than funny snoring. I think I do full on, you couldn't possibly imagine how bad my snoring is. So I've been told.
Yeah, I'm sure the dogs don't mind though, do they?
No, the dogs
No,
don't mind, and
no.
when they do sometimes snore, but that's just delightfully cute.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I have slept with your dogs as well when I've looked after
Mm.
them. So I know what they can be like. Yeah, they are cute.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
yeah. Mm.
Okay, so um, the question we're going to be, well, the first question we're going to be talking about is kind of what causes and conditions we put in place in order to help us to sleep so well.
Yeah.
Um, so is there anything that you do, or have you just not had to?
Well, I think fundamentally, I think peace of mind is a big thing.
Mm,
And I think right at the basic level, um, practicing mindfulness and compassion for ourselves, that just brings about a peace, doesn't it? A peace of
mm,
mind, so that um, yeah, not going to bed like worrying about lots of things.
mm,
But I think things that I do are, I try to get exercise every day.
mm,
Um, I um, I don't drink coffee after midday
mm,
or caffeinated tea. Everything's decaffeinated after midday.
mm.
Yeah, and I try to not eat too late in the evening as well.
Yeah.
And try not to make my last meal of the day particularly heavy.
Mm,
Uh, and if I do have a drink, I try not to have a lot of alcohol. I try not to I try to have it not past a certain time in the evening
mm,
because I find that
mm,
disturbs my sleep. Um, yeah, and maybe just trying to consciously relax um, in the period of time leading up to going to bed. So that
mm,
just sitting quietly. Yeah, that's that. There are a few things that I do. What about
mm.
you? What about
Yeah,
you?
well, I think a lot of what you say, I also do. But when we were doing the mindfulness-based healthy living course, when I developed that with Kai James, one of the things that we looked at was sleep, and one of the things that I'm really conscious about is a regular sleep routine.
Mm,
I get up at the same time every morning, even on the
yeah.
weekends, because they advise you against having weekend lie-ins.
Mm,
If you have the type of work which I don't actually, that is Monday to Friday,
yeah.
and going to bed at the same time every night. So I
Yeah.
think that's one thing. And then another thing is about light coming into the eyes to help. So what a regular routine does, it helps us to sort of stabilize our circadian rhythms that you
Mm,
know, tell the body it's time to sleep or it's time to wake. Um, And yeah, that regular routine of when you're awake and when you're asleep helps with that. And the other thing that does is that in our eyeballs, in the bottom of our eyeballs, we've got these receptors that are sensitive to early morning blue light.
Mm.
So it's really important to get that into the eyes first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even before I had the dogs, I would go out for a walk as early in the morning as I could, close to sunrise, because as the sun rises, the frequency of light is more blue. And so, but you can't wear glasses. Sunglasses or even normal glasses will kind of tend to screen out the relevant frequency of light. But, your eyes and getting that, just a 10-minute walk or sitting outside for 10 minutes. You don't have to look at the sun, just the
No.
ambient light will do it. Um, and that's a really big kind of daily set of your circadian rhythms. And then not disrupting that at night by having a lot of blue screen light in your
Mm.
so a lot of computers and like smartphones now have an automatic setting on an evening where the frequency of light coming out of the screen shifts to more red,
Yeah.
exactly for this purpose. And then if you do have lights on late at night, in the last hour before bed, maybe having the light levels fairly low, but if you do need to do something that you need light for, having the light source below you so that it shines into the top of the eyeball because the receptors are in the bottom of the eyeball. So if you've got like massive
How
bright
interesting.
lights above the eyes, so,
Yeah.
so that's something that's worth paying attention to. But to actually get to sleep on a night, I listen to an audio book.
Mm.
So I am currently listening to Middlemarch, and it's
Oh,
kind of very, very kind of relaxing. Although it's such a long time since I read it that I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but I don't think, anything too shocking. And it's read in a very kind of relaxing tone by this very kind of well-spoken woman. Um,
yeah.
so I normally put that on a timer for about 15 minutes, and then I'm normally asleep in about 5, and I've got to go back and work out the next day where I left off. But I find
Mm.
that occupies my mind on something fairly neutral and takes my mind away from things that are going to make that I might be excited about or things that I might be a bit worried about. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And do you go on? You're going to say something there.
Oh, well, that just reminds me because, like, sometimes, I do wake up in the middle of the night.
Mm,
Um, and I did so more often when I first started the menopause.
mm,
Um, and I find when I wake up in the middle of the night, if I just listen to something and I put
mm,
like a talking book or a podcast or even like nature sounds,
mm,
the sea or that or on like things like Insight Timer or
mm,
sounds of the forest or birds, and I put that on a timer, and again that just gives my mind something just to rest on, just
mm,
rest my mind on on the sounds, or on the words of the podcast, and then I find that I just drift off to sleep very quickly.
mm.
Yeah, so yeah, I did used to listen to talking books at bedtime, but I've had a problem with my ears lately, and the earbuds have been an issue. So I've tended to avoid avoid putting my earbuds in. And so yeah, but no, I think that's a really good thing to do. Mm.
Yeah, well, I'm quite fortunate if the dogs do object to listening to an audiobook at bedtime, they don't they don't say anything about it, so
No,
that's
no,
okay.
they probably enjoy it. Yeah,
Well, possibly,
yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
Um, yeah, if I wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep, then my first port of call is to put the audiobook on again.
Mm,
And I mean, that generally works unless I'm particularly kind of anxious or excited about something. Um,
mm,
in which case I might have to do something else. So I would, if I really can't get back to sleep, I'll tend to do progressive relaxation. So kind of well, I normally start at the feet, breathing in, clenching the toes, breathing out, relaxing them, and then gradually kind of moving up the body. And I generally don't get very far before I fall asleep.
Mm.
And there's a progressive relaxation with or without ambient music on the homepage of the website for anybody who
So
wants
there is. Mm.
anyone who wanted to try that.
Yeah.
Um, but that would be, or a body scan. And I mean, a lot of people, so on the Mindfulness Association app, it's my voice leading the body scan.
Mm.
And so often I have, like when there've been MA conferences, often people have stopped me and I really don't know who they are. And they said, "Oh, I listen to you every night in my bedroom." And you think, well, that it's like a really intimate thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
have no idea who this person is. And they would often listen to the body scan to get back to sleep. Or if I'm really desperate, I would do some coherent breathing.
Mm.
So I've got a coherent breathing track on my phone that's got like kind of relaxing. I wouldn't really call it music, sort of relaxing sounds, maybe sort of relaxing sound bathy kind of vibe. And it has a
Mm.
ding that goes every 6 seconds. So it dings and you breathe in, it dings and you breathe out. And that generally works for me too. Yeah. Um,
Mm.
but lots of different strategies there.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I've learned over the years is just not to care if
Yeah.
I'm awake in the night.
Mm,
It's just to see if you could just let go of, doesn't matter, really try and convince your mind that it doesn't matter if you don't go to
mm,
sleep, because one of the things I have noticed is even if and the times when I haven't slept very well at night, I've actually been okay during the day, and it's,
yeah.
not as bad as you think it is. And,
Mm,
I mean, I remember as a child, I had to have medicine to sleep because I went through a period of not sleeping very well, and
mm,
it was just, it was a terrible thing. This fear of not being able to sleep.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's something to, yeah, don't give a damn.
Mm. Well, I've been quite lucky in that respect because I vividly remember I had a primary school teacher called Mrs. Waft, and I
Yeah,
vividly remember her saying that you never needed to worry if you didn't sleep because if you just laid in bed and relaxed, it was just as good, which isn't true actually, but because my primary school teacher told me,
yeah,
for most of my adult life, I thought, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'll just lie here and relax, and it's just the same. So
yeah,
again, it's that thing of not minding. And then
yeah,
in 2013, actually, I was over in South Africa at one of Rob's retreats, and Charlie Morley was there.
yeah.
And so I did quite a lot of his sessions on dream and sleep. And one of the really interesting things is that this getting a solid 8 hours is kind of a modern phenomena to do with the Industrial Revolution. That we had to
Mm,
be up in the morning to get to the factory and then back to bed at night to get a good night's sleep. So before that, in rural kind of communities, they'd often have a first sleep, get up for several hours, do bits and pieces, and then go back to sleep and have a second sleep.
yeah, yeah,
If you are waking up in the middle of the night, it really doesn't matter because that's just how we used to do it, I don't know, 200 years ago.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we visited Beamish Museum recently, and there was a little box bed, um, that was sort of, it was all sort of, it was like actually getting into a box, but you thought, well, that's really little, but apparently they used to sleep upright as well. They used to
Mm,
sit upright in bed, so that's why they didn't need such long beds. So and they had really good sleeps.
mm, mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's an interesting
Mm.
place, isn't it, Beamish Museum?
It is. It's great. Love it. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. So, have you had times at all where you found it really difficult to sleep, or that you felt kind of particularly stressed or worried? And if so, what sort of techniques have you used to help you to settle in those circumstances?
What I find really helpful is to come into to my body,
Mm,
and just really feel, be aware of how the bed holds my body.
Mm,
and just it's almost allow my body just to become really heavy, and just be
mm,
aware of like experience the sensation of just being conscious of like the thing that my body is a field of sensation, just being, and then it's like doing a body scan,
mm,
just really allowing my mind to inhabit my body.
mm,
So for me, and then it gets you out of that your head where you've got all that nana chatter 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 going on.
mm,
Um, and again, like we've already said, listening to a podcast, a talking book, um, poetry. You can get poetry
mm,
that on Audible and things like that. Um, and also just something that I found helpful is just to maybe write, like journal, and just
yeah.
let your stream of consciousness come out.
Mm,
Um, so I've done that at bedtime before, and also writing like poetry,
mm,
you know, towards bedtime to express how I'm feeling and
mm.
just to get it out there. Um, yeah, and just to and I love doing a yoga nidra practice as well. I
Yes.
find yoga nidra is really helpful, in those sort of situations.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a couple of really nice yoga nidra tracks on my phone that I go
Mm,
back to from time to time. When I'm really, when something's really bugging me, sometimes I find if something, really upsetting has happened, or I'm really stressed about something, then I need to sort of, rather than doing anything that's going to kind of affect my mind, I need to do
mm,
something that's going to affect my body. So um,
mm,
sometimes this is called like a physiological hack. So kind of doing things with your body that tell your body, that give your body the message that you're safe, and then
yeah.
that can really give the mind the message, oh, actually we're safe and we can settle down. So things like coherent breathing that I've already mentioned
Mm,
really balances your nervous system. So like if your like threat and drive is really fired up on all cylinders, if you do
yeah.
some coherent breathing, it stimulates the soothing system and really can settle the nervous system back down again. And the other thing I find really helpful is alternate nostril breathing
Right. Yeah.
from yoga, where
Yeah.
so in alternate nostril breathing, like which some people find a bit challenging actually, when I've taught it, and you probably need to blow your nose before you do it. You sort of
Yeah.
breathe out and in through one nostril, so you might block one nostril with your thumb, breathe out and in through one nostril, and then block the other nostril with your forefinger, and breathe out and in through that nostril. But so that works really well, even in a couple of minutes, and that has me kind of really kind of
Mm,
spacey and relaxed. But if that doesn't work for you, there's a couple of other alternatives which are quite interesting. So one
mm,
is to turn the head to one side and breathe out and in, and then turn the head to the other side and breathe out and in. That has a similar
mm,
effect of balancing the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, so kind of balancing the nervous system. So instead of using the alternate nostrils, you can just turn the head. And the other thing
mm,
you can do is, if you have your hands in your lap, have one palm up and one palm down, and then you breathe out and in, and then you swap the palms over. So the hand that was up is now facing down, the one that's down that's now facing up. Breathe out and in. So swap the hands, breathe out and in, swap the hands, breathe out and in. And interestingly, that has a similar effect, which never ceases to amaze me. But yeah, I think if the mind is too agitated, then you know,
mm,
doing something in the body to calm the nervous system, like one of these breathing exercises, can be really beneficial. Or as you say, bringing the mind into the body so that the focus is in the body and out of the mental activity.
mm.
Sometimes I need a bit more than that, and these breathing exercises really
Yeah.
help. Yeah, yeah. So we've got our retreat day coming up on the 18th of July.
Yeah.
So I'll be sharing some of these practices during that retreat day, and other tips on rest and sleep. So it'll be a very relaxing day with some nice body scans, progressive
Mm.
relaxations, some of these breathing exercises. But also we'll be exploring a meditation practice which I actually guided yesterday morning on the Monday morning sit, where you have a sense of allowing the activity of the mind to fall asleep while staying aware. So kind of really encouraging the mind to fall asleep with that sense of, having an intention to abide in aware being. And
Yeah.
that's also a really interesting experience. So we'll be exploring that too, as well
Can't
as your
wait.
contribution, Tracy, which is
Well, we're going to make some lavender bags. So,
mm,
yes, all different kinds and can choose lovely different materials and things and different sewing techniques and yeah,
mm,
and little bits and pieces to embellish them with. So,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yes.
have to say, on our last retreat day, I think that the session on decorating the here and now stones was quite a highlight. It was really good, and
Oh,
really
thank
really
you.
enjoyable. Mm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was funny seeing some people who were so absorbed and they didn't want it to end, did they?
No, no. And we took a decision, didn't we? Because we thought, well, are we going to be all serious and do it mindfully, or are we going to chat and have a bit of a laugh at the same
Yeah.
time? And we chose the latter to kind of make it an enjoyable experience, didn't we? Not that
Yeah.
mindfulness isn't enjoyable, but to really um to not sit in silence. But I
Yeah.
think people still became really absorbed, didn't they, in the
They
in
did. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it was
mm,
lovely.
mm. Anything else to say about rest and sleep?
Just that, just talking about it's made me feel really rested and sleepy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
anybody listening to this, really hope that you get a good night's sleep tonight, and hope that these tips are useful. So this has been the Beachcomber Meditation Podcast with Heather Regan Addis and Tracy Connor. Thank you for listening.